My name is Irene Alena Misango, and I'm the founder at Uganda Uncovered. We recently rebranded to Uncovered Travel Initiative, and we are a destination marketing entity. We basically work with the youth to do destination marketing to promote Uganda to become a premium destination. We do this in partnership with Uganda Tourism Board, Ministry of Tourism, KCCA, Uganda Heritage, and other organizations that are into tourism in Uganda. So today we've been at the 4th edition of the Kampala Tourism Walk. This is a walk that we started way back in 2021 during COVID, and the aim was to uncover Kampala beyond the normal sites. When we talk about Kampala's tourism, we all know Kasubi Tombs, Gaddafi Mosque, the National Museum, but how about the monuments? How about the old schools? How about the local markets, the street names, religious tourism? Like, Kampala has a lot in stock. It has a lot of potential that we feel that has not been tapped, majorly because one, and not so many people know what they can do. Secondly, tour operators have not so much sold these products, and thirdly, even content creators, people that do promotions, they also don't have the stories to tell about these places. So today we came to do 3 things. First, to create more awareness about what we can do in Kampala. Secondly, is to see that we can develop new products for Kampala short tours. A trip that you can have for 2 hours, you can have for 1 hour or half a day. Maybe on a Saturday you're done with work, you go somewhere for 2 hours, check out Kampala. And then lastly, it was to see that we tell more stories about Kampala and reimagine Kampala's tourism.
We're doing this urban tour. This is something that had been neglected in Kampala. People didn't know that you can actually do urban tours in Uganda. We brought these queens so that they can learn something about the cities. For us, when we're bringing these queens, we go around the country. We get queens from different regions, from West Nile, from Karamoja, for what. So we need them to understand about the city tours. They can also introduce it in their municipalities over there, so that people can understand culture, they can understand the city's history, and all these things. At that time was Governor Bank of Uganda. Wow. And at that time he was doing what? Those people he was working with, when this one was open, they wanted to break down the other one. Even the board allowed that now we don't need it. It has to go. But having gone to school in the US, he had seen how those people keep their buildings. For him, he refused. He was like, no. As governor, no, it's staying. But the rest of the people in management of Bank of Uganda had decided that it had to be broken down. They didn't need it. Now, they are using it. Now they are using it. And the history is still there. They are using this one, it's full. They even bought this one. This one was another bank. At that time, they used to call it Grindley's Bank. This one, Grindley's, yes. Then it became Stanbic. And then when Stanbic were acquired, left it alone, and then now it's part of Bank of Uganda. Now you see this one, it was called Drapers. It's a historical building. Some Greek guy, yeah, the Rupaleria one. Rupaleria bought it, and what he did, he left it in its original form. Of course, he expanded it, but how Drapers used to look like in those old days, it's how he preserved the historical nature of it. To 1945. A lot of people went to the World War. Ugandans. Even our President Idi Amin was a World War veteran. He went to fight in the World War. So this was built in memory of all those people who went to fight in the World War. So in most cases, when I see people saying, why do those people want our countries? Why do they have their countries to come to our countries? They're like, you guys, we shed blood for these countries. So we have a right to come to these countries. For us, we didn't call you to come to our countries, but for you, you came to our countries and took our people to fight for you to save your country.
Has come out to support tourism, and we did support tourism. And to do this, we are building the infrastructure all around our tourist attractions, the monuments, the people, the sites. We ensure that these are clean, these are maintained, and these access, the roads are done, the drainages they are done, the streets are lit, so that people not only in Kampala and Uganda, but even those that come all over from all over the world can come and enjoy the beauty and experience of being in Kampala as a gateway to the rest of the country.
Did you show them the 0 mile?
No.
0 mile is in Amber House. Amber House.
This tour is nice, and I'm very, very happy that this time we've gotten a big number. We've been doing these tours for like 4 years, but because it involves walking, a lot of people weren't interested in the walking. But now, people are getting used to the walking, they are getting right. So now we are getting numbers. I guess in future it will even be bigger. The numbers are big, the numbers are many, and that's very good.
Gideon Nova, Kwicheriza, President UX. I am glad to have participated in the Kampala Tourism Walk. It was really an amazing experience, I should say. It was my first time participating in it. I didn't know that it would be this interesting and educative at the same time. I was able to learn a lot of things that I didn't know.
Hi, my name is Precious Kumisriza, also called the Michiga Traveler, and I've just finished up my first ever Kampala tourism walk that was spearheaded by Uganda Uncovered. It's been really an amazing experience. I mean, I've been moving around the city for a long time, but I didn't know most of the monuments around and even the history of Kampala itself. What stood out for me, you know, the Constitution Square, I didn't know that we have a memorial for the soldiers that you know, fought in World War. I did not know that, but I've just been moving around for 20 plus years. I also didn't know about you know, Nakasero Market, the first shop that was, you know, put up in 1927. I mean, there's been so many places that we've been around. There was also is it Maria Shrine? Something, I don't remember properly.
We went to St. Balikudembe Market and we started the Martyrs Trail. The Martyrs Trail, why it's called St. Balikudembe? Because one of the, among the saints or the martyrs of Uganda was called Balikudembe, and he was martyred there. He was killed there. So we visited the place. The good thing, we found that they were holding mass, and so we participated in the mass and learned quite some good things from there about the history. And we went within the Chisenyi area. There is another martyr called Saint Maria Mosei.
It's because it's named after the martyr that was killed here. Personally, as a Pan-African, I don't know if they were martyred, but I would say they were executed. As a Pan-African, I think they were executed. They weren't martyred because they were going against my hero, defiance. Mwang. They were doing defiance. And at that time, if you defied the Kabaka, treason.
Called Saint Maria Mosei, and there is a church there and a well that has been flowing from the 1800s.
Don. Kanzije. Bada nyimbuze. Ganda wak.
So we visited the place and officially we joined what we call the Kabaka's Trail.
We've moved around different places and we've crowned it all by, you know, going to Bulange in Mengo, visiting the Parliament of Uganda, walking the Royal Mile, you know, learning about the totems, you know, everything about Uganda Kingdom, because it's at the center, you know, it's really very crucial in this Kampala tourism walk.
Bulange House is the administrative headquarters for the Kingdom of Uganda. From this building here is where the Katikiro, the ministers and all the civil servants in the kingdom sit. So the Katikiro has an office here, the king has an office, and the Nabagirika also has an office at this very building. The monument we are seeing here is the Kabaka Monument, established in 1990 what? Fouls. 1990 what? 1993, when the kingdom was being restored. So this is what we look at to remind us of a kingdom abolished in 1966 and then re-established in 1993. Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi becomes special because he is the one who restored the monarch in 1993. So this is the biggest monument that we have that reminds us of the past we went through and then the restoration of the kingdom. Olange House initially was in the palace. The palace, that's where it was. So the Kabaka decided that it should be shifted from there and to here. It had a number of issues. Some were development, others were political, and others were personal to him as the king. But the Baganda then objected, a number of them objected the construction of this house because they looked at it as a wastage of taxpayers' money. A wastage of taxpayers' money. But because the king had wished, no one could stop him from, from doing it. And eventually the house was established. And in 1967, when the kingdoms were finally abolished, the government took over after, sending the king away in exile. The government took over the palace and this house here. And this was, the army was working from here until 1993. Obote used it, Amin used it, and even Museveni used it when at West Camp until 1993, when these properties were finally returned to the king. In 1992 and then 1993 we started using it. The first Lukiko sitting here on 1st of August 1993. That was also attended by the president of Uganda. So it's old, as you can see. The architecture here is old, but it was really some good work that people were doing. And in here we have offices, and we also have the Great Lukiko. The Lukiko is the oldest parliament in Uganda. And from here, the decision was made that Obote should take his government away from Uganda. And that led to the abolition of the monarchy eventually. So this is where the decision was taken in the Lukiko. So we'll have a look at the Lukiko and then we'll proceed.
We saw the Lukiko. The Lukiko is the parliament of Buganda. It is said, and I want to believe so, that this is the oldest parliament in Africa. This is the oldest parliament. From Kabaka Chintu up until now, there have been different members of the Lukiko, depending on which king and how the king feels best. From after learning about the Kabaka's, the Lukiko, and how the Buganda's administration, Uganda Kingdom administration is well set, we did the Royal Mile. Now the Royal Mile, it's a mile that shows the different totems of Buganda, how Buganda is set up in terms of totems, how it's administered, the different totems, the sculptures of the totems, and we really feel blessed. On the Royal Mile, we also saw Kabaka's roundabout, which is called Ntawetwa, meaning he doesn't go round about it. He goes through directed. Good history there. And we hit the Kabaka's palace. The king's palace has quite a lot of things. That is the current office of the Kabaka. That's where he operates from, because he operates from there and doesn't sleep there. Because in 1966, when the palace was attacked, blood was shed. And in Buganda, the Kabaka, the king, doesn't get near blood. So there's a different palace where he sleeps. And the best thing is, by the time we got in, the Kabaka was in. He was busy working. So we got a feeling of how it feels to be near such royalty. In the king's palace, there is a Amin's dungeon, Amin's torture chamber. It is said that over 200,000 Ugandans were murdered in that torture chamber. Not only by Amin, but even when Amin left and Obote too came, he started from where Amin had stopped. Quite a number of Ugandans lost their lives.
You can see, this can show you that we used to have, all these things were closed. They were all closed. They had very metallic doors. When they're put in here, they are closed. And then people could be in there without fresh air, with a lot of darkness, and with water that is electrified. So most of them could die as a result of electrocution and that kind of things. So a lot of people, those that had victims, come here and they tell a story, different story of how the people lost. Some actually just think those that lost people, they're not so sure that they were killed from here, simply because they are told there's a torture chamber. They would come and think this is where the people disappeared from. Because they killed a lot of people in the process. So they just come and then maybe they were killed here. So they could look, you can see with that, you can see those metallic things that they used to lock all these chambers. So they bring in people, even at the entrance there, they used to lock at the entrance, but now simply because there's no need for locking now, because it's not.
Imagine this thing, there's no ventilation, no aeration, you're locked in.
Nothing, locked in here, no, you're just waiting for one thing, to die. That's what you're waiting for.
I think you're actually praying that you die.
You die as soon as possible. Because the story is told that those that were brought here never knew where they were going. You could make rounds around the city. They could move you around the city for like 5 hours, moving in a car. And then eventually when you come here, you never even imagine that you're here because I've moved for 5 hours. Why would you be going to Kampala to Mengo from Nairo Avenue, and then you spend 5 hours in the way?
So also this was closed?
This was also closed. There's a gate here.
So which means this was where Amin used to have his like a barracks from? The place where
in
the party used.
1966, when the king left the palace after Amin, on the orders of Obote attacking the palace, the king moved to exile, and the army, the government, took over the palace. So from 1966 until 1992, this palace was occupied as a barracks, a military barracks, and even Bulangi was the army headquarters for all that time. So it was a barracks. That's why it became an armory. That's why the armory is established here, because we don't have an armory where there is no barracks. So it was a barracks for all that time. Barracks for Obote, barracks for Amin, barracks for the transition government after the overthrow of Idi Amin, and then barracks for Obote too, and even Museveni after coming to power. This was his barracks until when he returned it to the kingdom eventually.
In there's Amin's cannon, or the gun that was used to attack, one of those that was used to attack the palace. In there, people learned about how the king moves, because there are remains of the Kabaka's cars. So they learned about that, and the entire culture of Buganda.
And we've crowned it off with a special Luombe experience. I mean, there is also a story about that. So I would really want to encourage everyone, the next time that you see the call out for Kampala Tourism Walk, do not hesitate, because you're going to learn so much about the city. I mean, it's the heartbeat of the country. Everyone who is coming into Uganda, I mean, they're going to come into Kampala city eventually. And it's always good to understand the history, the heritage, and everything that makes Kampala unique.
My name is Nakasanje Jannat, and I am a tourism enthusiast. Everything about tourism, I'm good. About today, we have just finished having the Luombo, but before the Luombo, we had a Kampala tourism walk under Uganda Uncovered, and I would say it was a very good experience, the first of its kind for me. And it was really good. We managed to move around the city. It would have been tiresome, but we had a very good team that was guiding us through, and we were resting in between. So I loved that. And the people in town were friendly. They were curious about the t-shirts we were wearing. What is Uganda Uncovered? So that was also good. They are curious about their country. I've liked everything about Buganda basically, because we visited Bulange, that is the parliament, the Royal Mile, and then the palace, the torture chambers, how Amin executed a number of people. It was really, really good and educative.
People know me by the name Raslon Walker on different social medias, but my name is Ismail Hassan. This is the first time I've had this walk in the whole of Kampala, and of course I've come to learn about the different historical features, structures around that, including the Kasero Market that is from 1927, then went to KCCA, the mayors that shaped Kampala, and of course came into Bulange Mengo and learned about the Buganda Kingdom with this historical contribution towards the development of Uganda. I believe that this is an opportunity that every one of us and each one of us has to come and experience and come and explore. There's so much that Kampala has to offer, but just because we sit outside there, we don't know what is there. We just look at structures or monuments. We don't know what is the significance of this. I believe that with this initiative from Uganda Uncovered, if we could continue with this, a lot of us will not be caught off guard, not knowing what Kampala stands for, and so that we can have a good projection for the future. I empower you all to come through, and when called upon to come and explore Kampala or explore Uganda, take the initiative to learn and engage with the local people. Finally, of course, I love the food, the luombo. Yeah, opening up that luombo and eating.
I believe where we started from the National Theatre to where we've ended at the Kabaka's Palace, surely we have gotten several stories, we have gotten several new things, we have gotten more knowledge about different attractions in Kampala, and I know for sure from today we've gotten the confidence now to perfectly sell Kampala's tourism, and this is going to be redone on several occasions yearly, with more youths, with more tour operators, with more students, with more tourism enthusiasts, to see that together we promote Kampala's tourism.